Yes, everyone, welcome back. Obviously, very disappointing defeat today against West Ham. With how we started this game, for the first 45, 50 minutes, it was the last thing I was expecting, to be fair with you. And I guess it's like a bit of a, reality check at the moment because we have a lot of players that are still young, a lot of players that haven't really played as much game time together. And it does feel like when we make a mistake, these mistakes are magnified even more. Like these mistakes are greater. And I do feel like these are details that I feel like Pochettino can work on to like minimize and to like restrict. But at the same time, I can't help but feel like a little bit dejected after today's result. I mean, 3-1 against a team that barely had any chances, and they seemed to take advantage of the few ones they did have. Of course, conceding from a set piece, never ideal. Then a counter-attacking goal, then a penalty. Like, for keeping things real, if West Ham were to win this game, they were only going to win this game either through things like a set piece, a wonder goal, and a penalty, right? So it seems like everything fell in their favour. And a part of me still feels like if you play this game like 10 times, West Ham win this game once. If Enzo Fernandez scores and buries that penalty when he had the opportunity to, then I do feel like then it's a completely different game, different context, different everything at that point in time. But again, you get punished if you don't take advantage of those opportunities that come your way. Because in the Premier League, if you want to win this, or if you want to win the games, you have to take control of your destiny. When you have these moments that fall your way, these are the defining ones that determine whether you're going to get success or not. And it hurts that it came from Enzo, because you're thinking to yourself, okay, Enzo's taking a penalty. This must be like a genius call. Like, we haven't seen him do this before. But it's Enzo Fernandez, right? It's World Cup winning 105 million Enzo Fernandez. And you're thinking, with how this guy strikes the ball, passes, etc., you feel like you have a bit more conviction from these moments, right? But again, it was a bit of a reality call that came in. It hurts a lot. I've had a bit more time to process things. I'm going to release like a tactics video tomorrow just to break down some of the things we did good and the things we did bad. Why did we struggle to find solutions against West Ham for the final 40 minutes of the game? I mean, it was really quite poor in that sense, right? But you guys, what are you saying? I'm kind of just like experimenting. I'm doing something new. I've always wanted to do like maybe post-match streams. So, obviously I know, I'm not really caring about the views or anything right now. But I like to do more of these as the season's going on. So it's just a bit of like an experiment today, just to see how things go. But how you guys in the chat doing right now? Nice that you guys can come here and join me again today. Always nice. Yes, what are you guys saying? Nini, we need a new goalkeeper. Sanchez ain't going to be good enough. Well, it seems like we could be signing Pekovic. Pekovic, the what's his name? The Serbian goalkeeper. Yeah, the Serbian goalkeeper from New England's Revolution. He seems quite decent. He seems like he could be good competition for Sanchez. And if he's not, then we have to go with these guys for this season at least. And then next season, maybe spend big on a goalkeeper, right? Mehdi, how you doing? Damn, people playing FIFA too much. Like, it does feel like that a little bit. Obviously, I've seen a lot of the reactions on social media. This guy's awful, that guy's awful. Like, the language is always like awful, awful, awful. Like, there's no in between. There's no like, he did some good ththings and some bad things. It's either you're good or you're bad. And sometimes it can be a bit hyperbolic. A lot more than it has to be fair with you. But I agree with you, man. Sometimes it can be a bit too like FIFA in terms of the analysis, right? Jeremy Ping Pong, how you doing? How are we this bad? I'm scared we might get relegated already. I think that's what I mean. Like, I know the result didn't go our way, but I just kind of feel like it's a bit too mad to worry about things like, relegation, as if that's going to happen, or this season's going to be a nightmare. It would be different if we saw nothing against West Ham. And comparing like positives in this game compared to last season, if we moved the ball like this a bit last season, I'm sure you guys would be like even more excited, right? So, I'm not really going to be too hard on the team in that sense. I know, not too hard on the team, too hard on Pochettino. I feel like maybe today the result came from the team more than it came from Pochettino. I think that these guys got details in the game wrong. You know, the manager is relying upon his team to take chances that come. And we created some that did come, you know. Our XG was 2 point something for large parts of the game until we ended up creating nothing for the final 40 minutes. And within that time, we did enough to take the lead at least. And then it's a completely different game against West Ham. West Ham open up at home. Then we can bring on more like wide options to hit them on the counter-attack. But again, you know, getting goals, the first goal is so important because once you score, you have a period of time then to take control of the game. And some teams take control by normally just like, you know, reverting their lines back, staying more compact, not really coming out to press. And once the game becomes like that, it becomes really hard in general just to break down most teams. And, you know, it's not like we've ever really had the like aerial power up front really to take advantage from crosses and things like that. I felt like I felt like it was very one-dimensional near the end, which is pretty disappointing, to be fair with you. Like, we didn't try to open them up or take shots outside the box. It was, you know, safety first, out wides, and then blind hope crosses. And it's just like, I've never really seen teams really take advantage of teams that like park the bus like that and still find solutions inside the box. So I feel like that was a really naive way of playing. And I got the impression that Pochettino felt like maybe the guys were being a bit too youthful in those moments, right? Like they reacted kind of badly, being a goal down. The mentality was a bit different, you know what I mean? So yeah, it was a bit disappointing in those regards. But seeing some more questions here. Zakaria, my favorite Chelsea YouTuber, appreciate that, man. Emmanuel, Mudryk and Noni got to step up. Again, Noni hasn't had a pre-season. We haven't seen him once in pre-season. His first minutes of this season was a sub appearance against Liverpool. So this is what I mean by the panic taking over a bit now. You know, we can't be like sticking it on Noni when the guy hasn't had the opportunity to build fitness or really be ready in those sense. So that's a bit harsh, man. John Rabnini, when Enzo took the ball from Jackson, my son said he is a poor penalty taker and he might miss, and he did. Strikers should be taking our penalties. I mean, I fully agree. You clearly have a very wise son. Really good insight from your boy. I think it's a classic thing, right? I think if Jackson scores that confidence, then who knows what happens going forward, right? I'll be really curious to understand the decision-making behind Enzo taking that. Like, has he been burying them in training or something? Or did he decide he wanted to take responsibility in that moment? I'm curious about what happens. But, you know, Pochettino will still learn about this team. And maybe we might see some adaptations. Maybe we're going to see him, like, you know, maybe rethink things on penalties. Because who are our main penalty takers now? Like, before we had, like, your Jorginhos and Mounts and Lukaku's and whatever. But who really is the main penalty takers in this team? Like, who can you rely upon that's going to consistently score from them? I still feel like a lot of these new guys who bought, they have a bit of like an unknown quality to them in the sense of, okay, how are these guys going to react now playing together, playing for us? Like, that's the key thing now, yeah? So, Enzo, it was a really poor penalty. I think we can't deny that. I saw it was very easy for the keeper to save. There was no conviction or power behind it. It felt like he really panicked hard, to be fair. Moving on, Charlie Mahoney, how you doing, man? Nice to see you here again. Got to be less reactionary. We dominated but we lost. We've seen this game annoying, like countless times over the years. And it's only 2 games into the new season. Watch us smash Luton and everyone be... Exactly, like if we beat Luton, like, and let's not like get too cocky, but if we do beat Luton, you feel like the reaction is going to really change a lot more then. You know, if we can get like 3 goals or something, that's what it tends to be like though. Like, everyone reacts depending on the last game they watch. But I just felt like sometimes, like, it's a new season, new players, young players on top of that too. I feel like we need to have fresh eyes when assessing the team. Like, yeah, we got scarred last season, but most of the scars we saw last season, they've kind of left now. They have been sold on. So I feel like we have to give a benefit of doubt with... really like see how these guys do under Pochettino. Like, he needs more time. Obviously, once Caicedo and Lavia are like fully ready, I'd imagine Pochettino will play more of a back four. But, you know, we got an alright result against Liverpool, 1-1 in hindsight. Today, we lost the game. Like, of course we lost, but I mean, like, we lost control of the game because we were the team that was on the rise, that could have taken it further and further and further. I'm going to put this the tactics on board right now. I like Sofa School. I think it gives you like good insight behind these games. Let's find the West Ham game on screen to get like a better understanding of like how the players performed, you know, their positions, etc, etc. If I can find it somewhere, it would be ideal. If it's here somewhere, results, yeah. West Ham, again, 10 men West Ham. Like, no solutions to break them down. I felt like even when, like, Barstow came on, like, nice the kid's got an opportunity. Like, his first Prem start, I think that was it was a big moment for him. And I think we forgot to even acknowledge that because we were only caring about getting back in the game, right? But, you know, Mason Barstow coming on and getting some confidence from Poch is a good thing. But here, got a super chat from Harrison. Yo, man like Harrison, okay. I like the first 50 minutes. Love the intensity and the one touch, two touch. Naive not to finish him away. Young team though, at least I see the vision. And I think that is a very fair, you know, that's a very fair perspective to have after this game. Because there was a vision. And I think last season we were pretty visionless. There was nothing really to look forward to the next games. There was no consistency behind how we played. And let's say we played okay one game. It was like brand new rules the next game. So it's like there was no momentum you're able to build up over time. So, you know, we've seen this style of football really dominate Liverpool. Do really well against West Ham. And we created those moments because in a game like West Ham, you're not going to have 30 shots on goal. Unless you're really forcing shots outside the box and just, you know, really going like crazy. But I do feel like the approach to like keep control, keep moving West Ham left to right, like we were naturally forcing them back for the first 50 minutes. Like they couldn't get out their half and they reverted deeper and deeper and deeper. And we kept finding those spaces between the lines and in midfield, like the nice combo plays, the nice 1-2s. It was a very quick and focused style of football, yeah. So that isn't something that's going to like leave this team overnight. It's only something that can be improved upon, that can be fine-tuned, that can be worked upon to like make sure the details are on point, right? So, you know, considering that it's probably even a younger team than last season, you know, Khan's at 19, Barstow coming on at 19 years old, you got Gusto, who's 20, Cole, 21. Guys who are coming off the bench, like Noni, 21 years old. Even Enzo, Caicedo, 21, it's a very young team. And it's a massive accomplishment that guys this young are already at such a high level that they can play for a top 4 team, which is the exciting thing for the future. But again, they're going to have certain mistakes in their game. And you know what? It's disappointing, but I'm not feeling nervous yet. I need to always see the first like 5 games of the season. Like, I mean, people that judge things off like 1 or 2 games, just come on, you're hurting yourself, to be fair with you. I feel like it's a pretty redundant thing to do. Because after 5 games, if we've won like 3, drawn 1 and lost 1, the whole perspective then looks completely different, right? But yeah, I think there's a football we're building upon that looks like it's going to bring some positivity as the season goes on. So, Harrison, thank you for the super chat, bro. And I'll probably have to give you a bell later. So, thanks, man. But anyway, Dan Waters. Thank you, Dan. Yeah, game week 2, calmer we move. I can't, that's my mentality too, man. I'm not over hyping or over worried about this performance. There was enough positives to feel like we could have done something. And against West Ham, you know, you're not going to be creating 10 chances a game. Like, I don't remember Man City beating these guys 5-0 or anything like that. You have to play for your moments. And we made them, but we didn't take them. And that is the main thing. And obviously there is a question mark around, okay, how can we start capitalizing on our dominance? Because, you know, you guys look on screen right here. You've seen the expected threat throughout the game. I mean, it's mainly blue, right? Of course, it's varying like lengths in terms of like, you know, how threatening the threat was. But you can see we largely were in absolute control of the game. But look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moments from West Ham. And they got 3 goals from that. They're details we have to work upon. I think the set piece goal was pretty disappointing. The fact that why is Gallagher going man v man against Ogard? That didn't make any sense to me, really. I'm looking at guys like Jackson, I'm looking at Cole, Silva, Disasi. You're feeling like we can go man v man, right? Like, and of course, that's always going to be a worry. Like, are we physically capable to like prevent these moments from set pieces? Obviously, Ward-Prowse is one of the best set piece takers in this country. Like, that's not a debate. Like, he's created so many moments for Southampton over the years from dead ball situations. I didn't even want to really give away many corners. And the thing is, we didn't give away too many. This is the funny thing, but just the quality that this guy possesses, like put that ball in the 6-yard box, like with consistency. That's the game plan. And I mean, I can see why David Moyes was like, I need to sign this guy, right? Obviously, you're looking at the counter-attacking goal. The Antonio one was disappointing. I felt like it was a bit of inexperience and backing off too much. Like, the sassy, show this guy away. Like, I know that Antonio was a great goal at the same time. You know, it was a great goal from Antonio at the same time. But do we wrap this game off due to just like, you know, circumstances? I know Paqueta hit the post earlier as well too. Like from the few shots they made, everything seemed to be on target for West Ham. And obviously Caicedo, very rusty. I'm actually thinking, in hindsight, was Caicedo even the right move for us to really make to bring on? Because I felt like he wasn't moving the ball forward enough as well as Conor Gallagher did, to be fair with you. And that was affecting our rhythm, I guess, in midfield. So that was an interesting one, to be fair. And again, it's hindsight. Like, at the time, there's no way I would have imagined that. But now the game's over, things are a little bit different. But going to the lineups, I mean, you look at the West Ham, again, this is just like objective type of like player ratings based on like, you know, the threats, the situations players are dealing with on the field. And not many West Ham players are scoring too high. You know, like there was a lot of times where they didn't show as much quality in certain things. I think obviously Souček was a bit of a beast in terms of just helping their defense. I mean, he was winning every single aerial. And like if you're 6'4", 6'5", I'm expecting you to do that. Ward-Prowse from his set piece quality, really good. Antonio worked hard. But until that goal, I mean, he had like 3 passing attempts and pulled off 1 pass in like 50 minutes. So it's the details that we have to work upon to improve. But I felt like, you know, Disasi for sure is probably the poorest player on our half. I think he really, again, he's new to the league, new to the Premier League, new intensity. Should we be expecting some error of margin in his performance? Maybe. But then you're looking at guys like Connor, who I think, again, he's looking like he gets Pochettino right now. Only 2 games, but looks good. Enzo was running things again. Terrible penalty miss, but let's look at the zones and situations. But before I even get into the more like nitty-gritty tactical stuff, I want to answer a few more questions here, see what you guys are saying. Okay, Cassio, why did Gilly take the penalty? Why didn't he take the penalty? He usually took one of the first 5 spots in shootouts. I mean, this is the thing. I've got no idea. I got no idea why the situations happened how they did. No idea whatsoever. Like, was there honestly, no idea. So, yeah, I don't know what to really even say to that, to be fair with you. Like, I wouldn't have guessed that Enzo would have been that poor, to be fair with you. But again, you know, it was someone made a point that his son said that Enzo's not really that good from pens, so maybe a bit of an error in that part. Queen of Stamford, how you doing? Tired of seeing 3 central defenders. Thought we were past that nonsense. I hear you, understand. But I do feel like there's a bit of context at play right now. Because let's be realistic. When Pochettino feels he can trust his midfield 3, because remember before the Liverpool game, I mean, he was really saying in his press conference, you know, I want a midfield player. He's not been shy to say, I want reinforcement in my midfield and reinforcement in my team. And we've now got that. But these guys didn't come as early as Pochettino would have planned for. Like, ideally, Pochettino wants these guys to come in during pre-season to really get ready. So that's going to affect a few things, right? In terms of how Pochettino wants his team to play and how they're going to move. So I can understand why he's thinking, I'm going to go a little bit safety first at least. At least I've got like a back 3 that can defend off the ball. But I think the way this back 3 attacks is completely different to what we've seen before. Like, it's not the traditional back 3 setups that we tend to see. So I'm going to give some credit to Pochettino in those regards. I think it was quite exciting. And for 50 minutes, when you have to take advantage and take the lead, I think the way this game ended would have been completely different. I mean, you know, Ben gets forward so much. Carnes can drop into midfield at times. Cole was basically playing as like a left back quite a lot of times, which he can do. You know, he's one of those defenders that can play as a centre back / wide centre back to / fullback. So it wasn't like an awful thing in my opinion. I think Ben too, look, I think his numbers were good in terms of like the constant overlaps, constant options. Like we were really dominating the flanks on the left hand side, for example, when like Carnes was dropping deep and then linking up with like Enzo or Gallagher, Jackson and Ben. Like, you know, if you watch that first 50 minutes again, I thought West Ham looked like they were under the ropes for large parts of that first half. And, you know, I thought Ben, you know, playing this role he's playing, he's not played bad in both games, in my opinion. He has a box threat, look, played 2 key passes throughout. You know, 2 out of 5 crosses were accurate ones. And again, Nico Jackson got underneath one of his crosses, and you're hoping that he scores from something like that, because that was a great cross inside the box. And it's those moments there, like we made those big moments, yeah, but they're not getting capitalized on. But I don't think the issue is the back 3, because we lost the game when we moved away from a back 3. We lost the game and it was more of like a back 4, remember? When guys like Mudryk came on, Madueke came on, etc., etc. So I don't want to blame it on this back 3 system, because it had nothing to do with that, to be fair with you. Because again, we didn't end the game with this formation. We ended the game playing a lot more offensively, playing a back 4. So yeah, I'm not too sure about that, to be fair with you. Again, I thought Ben had a good game. A solid game. I think it's a very solid game from him. I think one of the guys of the game though, Chukwuemeka, I feel like once this kid left us, a lot of the flow that we had, a lot of the momentum, the little patterns, and just like the way we ebbed and flowed against West Ham, a lot of that went. And Carnes, as you can see here in his heat map, like the little red zone, like right where the 18-yard box is, and near the left hand side as well too. Every time he drifted in the middle, of course, Ben was making the overlap on the left hand side, and then there was runners like Sterling would come outside on the right, and Jackson would have a box presence. And when he drifted to the left hand side too, he was able to cut inside to take shots or put crosses in the box, or just combine even more. And again, he scored a great goal against West Ham. You know, his touches were good, accurate passes good, key passes. He looked very creative as he was floating around between the lines. And one thing I really liked about him too was how this guy was working hard off the ball. And again, last season I didn't see that from Carnes. Maybe I'm not expecting to because he's young. But the fact that he really is like taken upon that side of the game, it makes me see him a bit differently. It makes me think about what this guy could be like in the future when he really like bulks up and really gets bigger, right? But I think once we lost him, we lost quite a bit, to be fair with you, because he was like the guy to relieve a lot of pressure between the lines, because the ball stuck to his feet, like he wasn't getting dispossessed. So yeah, and also like when Carnes was playing with guys like Enzo and Gallagher, I wonder if there's like a full like heat map for the whole team, if I can find that somewhere. I'm gonna go and use who scored for this. Maybe I can find something here to like demonstrate what I saw in the game. Hopefully it's gonna come up on screen here. Okay, no, not Dortmund. Don't know why I keep showing that. West Ham. Yep. Okay, cool. Okay, so they're a lot harsher with their player ratings. Obviously, Enzo missing the penalty. Cool, I get that. But going to the heat maps for both teams. So yeah, this is why we were not leading, but this is why we were really dominating West Ham, right? Because of these zones we occupied right here. And we were able to like have control of these zones here due to guys like a Sterling or Carnes, maybe dropping a bit deeper, of course, which is taking out a man. And then it was creating overlapping options, but also meant that we had like that box presence in the middle with like Gallagher, Enzo, right and left, and then like Sterling and Carnes. I need to find some better software, but I'm going to do a video tomorrow to explain this. But we had that box presence right here, which meant that anytime West Ham won the ball, we could win those turnovers again. We could counter press. We had options. We could play more centrally through the middle. And once like Khan's went off, and then once Caicedo came on and things changed up in the second half, then we lost a lot of that ability to create centrally, right? And really like pull West Ham apart. Hence why we focus most of our plays on the right hand side and the left hand sides, you know, looking to put crosses in the books that way. And as we've seen over the years, it never ever works. Like we had like over 25 crosses in the game today, and it's just like a little bit mid to be fair. But again, let me see what I mean here. So like Carnes, Gallagher, Enzo, and where's the last guy? Sterling. Like these guys had great like occupation in these areas and made it very difficult for West Ham to get clear, because there was always a passing option to move the ball away quickly to draw them out. And then we played really quick from left to right, left to right, left to right for the first 50 minutes before things kind of worked out against us. So there was some promise there in those regards for sure. So it was definitely unfortunate that we couldn't keep the momentum going. And that, yeah, we just were really bad afterwards, to be fair with you. What was it showing here? Again, like the dribbles that we created too. Look, dribbles in these areas here. Like Raheem Sterling was an absolute monster today. And whenever he was receiving, is like on this right-hand side here as well too. I mean, he was bursting past like 3-4 players, getting straight to the byline, looking to put a cross inside the box. Like just little positive plays like that was you know, that was just really like positive to see and really helped us in those regards. What else is the stats showing in this game? Okay, so I think I can do from like 50 mins here so we can understand things a bit better. So yeah, like 15 dribbles in the first first half basically. We had more shots in the first half compared to the second half. What was the second half saying? Yeah, the second half things dramatically fell down in terms of dribbles, in terms of shots. Obviously, West Ham parked the bus a lot more, but that's the thing, right? West Ham were out manning us in those central areas when they were defending the ball. But they couldn't do that in the first half because we had too many like overloads in those central areas that, you know, every time we were forced one of their DMs to like try and engage, and then we would play through that and play through that and play through that. So that's what I mean by the positives. Like that is not a football that we can't maintain again and improve upon. And if Enzo had scored that penalty, if Khan's didn't get injured, if just little, again, I think the main thing is Enzo scoring that penalty, things are very, very different, to be honest with you. But it's just kind of crazy seeing how everything falls off in the final 45 minutes. It was really West Ham's game in the 45 minutes. Damn, like even the dribbles too. Like look, only on the right hand side where Gusto was, where Sterling was, and West Ham want you to be there because they got Emerson. They have, you know, Ogbonna. They have all these guys there to deal with that because again, you're not hitting them in their books. You're not going to get the ball there. But in that first half, as a comparison, look how many dribbles we were creating in central areas. And that's how you're splitting teams open. That's how you're like penetrating the organization. And then just a little combo plays here too on the left hand side with the Carnes there and the rest too. It was really a game of two halves, to be fair with you. But let me answer a few more questions. What are you guys saying here? Wendy, of course we're not going to win every game. If there is such a right time to lose a game, it's now. Early on, yeah, fair comment. Our fan base needs to stop behaving like brats and mature up a lot. Like, I get you. Obviously, I know that people get frustrated. We all do. But at the same time, I think it gets overdone. And I do think that social media just heightens things because now that people can make flipping money, now that Elon's monetizing tweets, like you're going to just milk everything even harder now, right? You're going to milk things even harder. So I get you. I think it is a little bit immature sometimes. Danny, any insight as to where Andre Santos would prefer him getting some wins? For sure, but I don't think his involvement would have made a difference, really, to be honest with you. I think maybe you'd be like, okay, Caicedo doesn't play, Santos comes on for sure, but I don't think it makes much of a difference, to be honest with you. Moving on. Kadar, I think everyone sees why Mudryk doesn't start. He's so raw and inconsistent. Spending that much for him and Carney to start over him, he is better. It's shocking. I mean, the season's just started and Mudryk was looking promising in pre-season. I just don't. My personal opinion is I'm just not gonna have a quick reaction right now. It's one of those games where the whole team performance was also bad. Like it wasn't just like one or two individuals killed attacks. Like the whole way we played was bad. And I feel like if Mudryk, for example, played in the first half with what we had going on, let's say in place of a Ben, with Cole playing as a left back, I think Mudryk also has like a bit of joy in that game, to be fair with you. But it's just like everything was limited in that second half once they went down to 10 men. And once we lost like that control of the game in that sense. So yeah, for me personally, I'm not quick to write off Mudryk just yet. I just think that after the first month, maybe the first 6 weeks, before international break comes, let's see how things go, right? Cal. Okay, Daniel made a good point. Can I find it somewhere? Okay, I'll have to look for that again. But anyway, Daniel, exactly, bro. Kasade bossed under 20s World Cup. I don't understand us buying Lavia and Leslie. We had a great preseason, Mudryk and Madsen. I hear you, but I do think for Kasade, in my opinion, getting regular game time is better. I mean, obviously he's going to boss the under 20s. He's one of the strongest players there. He was physically imposing against a lot of guys around his age and younger. So that doesn't necessarily translate to the Premier League, where you're playing against 6+ beasts, you know, physical monsters, big intensity. I think the club know what they're doing in that sense. So I don't know if Caicedo even coming on makes a difference in this type of game today, to be fair with you. Maybe an interesting one would have been maybe Ian Maatsen. Maybe if Maatsen played like how he was playing in pre-season, just like drifting in field a bit more, could we have maintained how he played in the first half? You know what I mean? So that would have been an interesting one for the future. But Pochettino's going to learn about this team at the same time, right? Anyway, N. Chelsea's physicality sucks after adding some signings. They can't compete above 50 minutes. I think Poch has to focus on physicality and do sub-right to cope with the physicality. We won a lot of this, again, we won a lot of second balls. We really won a lot of pressures in West Ham's half in this game today. In terms of the duels won, like the stats, I'll try and get the better stats on the screen, but we really dominated them in those areas, actually. So, you know, maybe the details for things like set pieces, that could have be done a lot better. Just small little details here and there. But I wouldn't say that West Ham, like, out physicality us. I don't think that was what happened in this game today. Yeah, I just don't know if it really played like that, to be real with you. But let me just get some of these stats on the screen here. Okay, so what the hell is going on here then? I'll get it on later, you guys. I'll get it on later. But okay, the agent. We have a new manager and a lot of new players. Slow start to be expected. We will be okay. I think so. And I think, again, this is the reality check for me, where it's easy to get hyped by the football and how we're playing. But the details, they're standing out in 4K. Like, the details need time to be worked upon. And, you know, it's about maintaining that consistency around them. So, yeah, lots of new guys. Of course, more debuts, like Gusto making his first debut. It doesn't feel like that, but it's his first Prem debut. Of course, like, you know, Burstow coming on. Disasi's second start. Colwell's second start. You know, there's a lot of, like, fresh faces. Jackson's second start. So, you know, I get it. I'm not too, like, upset in those regards. Emmanuel, stats are BS. Stats don't get you goals. I mean, it's how you apply the stats, Emmanuel. No one's just saying, oh, but look, we had like 70% flipping possession. That means we were good. That means nothing. And obviously you're right. But you know what I mean? It gives you a bit of like context to paint a picture with, right? Anyway, Noel. Nini, I feel we lost because Carnes was out. Carnes receiving those line-breaking passes from the defence in the half spaces helped our attack in the first half and helped Joe move up more. I think the way you actually said it, writing it down, is a lot better compared to how I'm trying to describe it. I mean, I've been trying to describe it like that, and he just said it so, yeah, effortlessly. But I'm going to say that again. Nini, I feel like we lost because Carnes was out. Carnes was receiving those line-breaking passes. Those passes we were seeing from Colwell, from Silva, from Disassi, who are playing really great line-breaking passes, finding like your Enzos and Gallagher's and Khans as well too. And obviously, when he was receiving those line-breaking passes from the defense in the half spaces, of course, it helped our attack in the first half and helped Chilwell move up more with those overlapping runs, stretching their back line. And you're right. You're 100% right, and that's why it worked. And then we moved away by bringing on maybe more like wide threat wingers, and it just wasn't the same. Like, we lost that little book structure in their half, where that's why it's such a popular thing to have now, due to how you can like better cope against teams that just want to sit back and park the bus. So I get why Pochettino thought Caicedo coming on could have helped in those regards, but again, I guess we underestimated how rusty he is at this point in time, right? So he might need like a week or two before he's like fully back to his best. But moving on, Mo Ali, Cole looks average. Okay, Wendy, I can only really be upset at the boards because we should have gotten Caicedo while he was still in pre-season. Maybe if we did, we would have 6 points already. I don't even like those details accumulate, they add up and they compound, right? So, you know, Pochettino wants to have as many of these guys ready in time for pre-season to make sure the prep is on point, because it's going to be an intense season. You're basically working with a squad that has been built over the past 12 months, and pre-season is the best moment really where you can have the time to work with the team. So I guess Pochettino has a bit of an advantage going in his favour now, knowing the fact that we have no European football to distract us. So he will have a bit more time to work on things in the training ground compared to any other normal season. So hopefully that kind of balances out over like the space of like the next few weeks, month or two, which I hope it does. And I feel like by the time it gets to Christmas, I'm hoping that we see some real like, you know, upshift in the team's performances. But anyway, Tom Barkley, Nini, when are we going to have the argument on getting a proper striker? If you're waiting to splash 200 million on two midfielders, we need that striker that puts fear in opponents. Haven't had that since Diego. Well, I guess we got priced out for Osimhen. That would have been incredible money, and I get why we didn't do that. I think Nico has caused a lot of threats to teams he's played in. Shame he couldn't take the penalty, but I feel like he's shown enough where it's like with maybe a few more chances his way, he can take advantage and he looks promising. But I look at the striker market, I think to myself, Vlahovic, could that be like re-examined again now? I'm not too sure. It depends on Lukaku. But in terms of like proper like striker options, like you guys in the chat, like who are like 3 strikers you would say are the type of guys you're looking towards now, you know? Like that's my thing. Like who are these options in the market right now? Maybe this is why we focus on strengthening positions where options are like peaking, like midfields and the defense and stuff like that. But I just think up front right now, Harry Kane, of course, went to Bayern, was never going to come to us. Vlahovic, even then, I think he's a great player. Is he needed? I'm not too sure. But again, it's finishing, right? But it's a hard one because it's not like we're producing like, you know, 5 clear chances a game. I don't know who on the market right now would be that guy. Obviously, looking at guys like your Ballagans and looking at lots of pacey options. I think one thing that would maybe help Jackson the most is having like another additional like pacey support alongside him. That could be an interesting one. But like, yeah, so it's a hard one. I think missing out on Nkunku is the key big miss here, yeah? Because if Nkunku's playing, the guy is probably our most clinical player. I'd imagine Nkunku takes a penalty today as well too. And him combining with Jackson, which is missed at times, it adds a different factor to our attack. So I think the timing of Nkunku's injury did not help us at all, yeah? It did not help, and we have to wait for this guy to come back in January. So there's little small factors like that working against us, and I just feel like whoever we sign up front, we can't disrupt how this team can be throughout the season. Like it can't just be like a rush type of panic signing. There has to be like some longevity behind it. And I like the idea of signing more of a hybrid guy. Now, I think Mohamed Kudus, listen, he's not that classic number 9, but there is no classic 9 in the market right now. Unless we decide to just like risk FFP and risk everything and just about here, Napoli, take 200 million for Victor Osimhen and let's hope that happens. And you know, when it comes to like putting crosses in the books, yeah, of course he missed that. But I think Nico, again, he's young, he's 21. Like he's got upside to his game. We're waiting for Armando Broja to come back as well too. Like you look at the team right now, Our squad looks sick on paper, but the squad isn't all here right now, right? It's not all fully here. But like again, in a few months when you've got these guys back now, then I think we like re-examine some of the things we're talking about. So if you're signing a striker, you have to know what the hell you're doing because again, Pochettino has really bigged up Breuer a lot of times, and I feel like Breuer and Jackson suit this way of playing. So don't force strikers because you're panicking for goals because it's if Enzo scores that goal and then we create counter-attacking moments second half and then Jackson gets released and Mudryk gets released, it's a completely different game. So this is why you can't get too crazy about 2 games into the new season. I think that's just too silly in my opinion. But let me answer some more. Liam, team is young and needs time to gel. An experienced Chelsea team in years past would have put this game to bed, yes. Given time, they'll be fine. Right now is a learning experience to take from. You're right. And those old teams, we had guys past the age of 25 years old, and that makes everything a lot more different, right? Like if we had Drogba at 21 years old when he was playing for like Mets and stuff like that, I'm sure we'd have completely different things to say about him compared to now. But yeah, moving on. 1, 3, 4, 2, 5, man. Okay. Why 3 centre backs with the Sassy? Why does he always plays? Again, as I'm saying, Pochettino has been waiting for his midfield, and obviously Lavia, who wasn't in the squad today, and Caicedo, who came on as a sub and looked rusty, these guys aren't fully ready. So you're not going to risk playing back 4 and making yourself open as hell for Premier League counter-attacks, yeah? Because we got punished today, even when we had a bit more support. And second of all, it's not a classic back 3. Like in the build-up it is, but when we attack, Cole is like a fullback. He gets forward a lot. So I feel like, I think we're like holding old ideas to like the new things that's being done. Just because we see 3 centre backs means nothing. Because again, that first 50 minutes, like, Noel said before in the comments, these guys were playing brilliant line-breaking passes for fun. That was just tearing apart West Ham. They couldn't stop us. They couldn't cope. So I'm not going to act like that was the main reason why we lost. And thirdly, we didn't end the game with three centre-backs. We didn't end the game with 3 centre-backs. It was a back 4. And did it do much? It didn't do that much. So I don't think formations has anything to do with the loss today, to be fair with you. But moving on, I'm going to be on for maybe another 17 minutes before I wrap things up and get some sleep, to be fair with you. It's been a very long day today. And voice is getting a bit tired now. But Wendy, always answering your questions. I honestly think the proper striker argument is a very surface level observation. There is goals in our team. It'll just take a bit of time to squeeze it out. And you're right, because I think the difference is that we have a bit of an identity now in terms of okay, we have an idea of how we can break teams down. And last season, it was all on the cuff. It was all improvisational. There was nothing consistent. We would go large sections of the game with no threat whatsoever. And, we were awful in that sense. So for me, I agree with you, Wendy. It's more of a case of just biding our time, being a bit patient now for these guys to really sink and jet up. And we had some good moments to take the lead, which we should have done. And yeah, I just don't think it's a case of worrying because we didn't get 3 or 4 versus a West Ham team where not many teams are getting 3 or 4 goals against them, to be fair with you. So yeah, I kind of agree with you, Wendy. It's a little bit of a surface take, especially when people are talking about strikers and not suggesting any names that could help us right now. I think anyone can do that. You know what I mean? Moving on, Adri Parker. Without injuries, our front 4 is Jackson, Sterling, and Nkunku and Carney. Based on form right now, you can definitely argue that for sure. And again, Nkunku here is the big loss because this guy on the counter alongside Jackson, we were seeing what these guys were doing in pre-season, especially Nkunku. I think he got 3 goals for us in pre-season. So, that's a big thing. Jesus Cruz. Oh, Santiago Jimenez from Feyenoord, yeah. I get it, but I just think, I don't know. He's one of those guys that I'd have to see perform at a club at a bit of a higher level before taking a gamble. I mean, I'm not too sure. But I get what you mean in terms of the guy is a really aggressive presser and, decent aerially and stuff like that. Tom Burke, Awayini. I can never say this guy's name. I just can't stand it. Awani. Oh, Flipping hell, I'm sounding like a fool right now. But you guys know, obviously, the Forest striker, yeah, he's a good striker, to be fair with you. And you know what's the funny thing is that he's obviously quite clinical in real life, but also in FM as well too. It seems to like really they love this guy in FM. Like he's always one of like the top 5 scorers in the league. But yeah, he's a good striker, good aerially, good finisher, all those details. But I just feel like Nico, for example, has more upside to his game. He's also good at these things and he can get better in every regard too as well. So there's also that to consider. But moving on. DJ, if Mbappe could be reintegrated into the squads, then we should reintegrate Lukaku because he is still contracted to us and he's a proven goal scorer instead of going out there and spending. Oh, that's a very interesting conversation. Pretty controversial. I know a lot of people are just like, that Lukaku ship is now sailed. Like, nah, no more Lukaku. But on paper, I mean, he does suit how Pochettino plays. I was like, Lukaku, like, I get that you've been burnt by the club before, but like, surely you can see that things are a bit different, right, in terms of how we play and how that can suit you. Now that Mitrovic has now gone to Al Hilal, where is Lukaku's future now? Like, could we be prepared for like something crazy, like Lukaku, like being integrated in the squads for this season because we have no buyers? Like, is that what we're getting set up for right now? Like, what do you guys think about that? Like, would you even take Lukaku as just like a reluctant type of, you know, addition to the squads? Because he does guarantee goals. He's got that threat and he could work, you know. He definitely could work. He's, of course, his personality's been a bit crazy these days. But I'm just looking at the market and who are we going to sell him to right now? I mean, Juventus, Vlahovic doesn't want to leave, and now he's scoring goals for them. And surprisingly, I think Juventus won like 3 or 4-0 against Udinese today. Didn't Vlahovic score again? So I can imagine that the ship has sailed now in terms of that happening. So who is going to sign Lukaku? Like, I don't see any options right now. And would it surprise me if, like, near the end of the deadline day, we're hearing that Lukaku is going to remain with us and he's going to get integrated back in the team? Who knows? Who knows? But I think what you're saying is, yeah, it's worth the thought, to be fair. But anyway, I'm going to be here for the next, like, 12 minutes before I wrap things up, my guys. Sebi, why do fans always overreact? Why do fans always overreact? Last week, people were so hyped saying we will challenge for the league, and now after one game, everyone's depressed. It's a process. It'll take time. I mean, I'm kind of happy that because I'm being so focused on streams and making videos that I've not really seen much response from social media today. And I'm not going to lie, I tend to hate seeing the responses after a loss because it's always the most reactionary things. And if you say anything that is counter against that, you know, you're seen as like an enemy of progress in the moment, right? And then people want to take the frustration out on you in that moment. So yeah, I've been trying to just avoid it. I don't think there's anything like, you know, there's no utility behind seeing the responses right now, to be fair with you. Just a lot of like disenfranchised, like frustrated people, which I get. But it's like at the same time, relax a little bit too, you know. Let's not act like it was terrible and mid and shit and all these things. Like we're never gonna like be good. Just yeah, relax, man. If we beat Luton on Friday next week, the reaction is gonna be completely different. Anyway, Charles, Yonini, I think we all need to drink up the stick we're getting from other fans right now. The talent is in the squad with this manager. Time will give us the last laugh. I think so. Time is definitely going to give us the last laugh because, I mean, do you guys also feel like you've seen like a lot of exciting football over the past 2 games? And during pre-season too, like, do you guys watching right now feel like optimistic? Or maybe I'll put a poll. Yeah, let me make a poll real quickly just to gauge your impressions. Let me. How the hell do I do that now? Okay, start a poll. Does our football make you feel optimistic? Yes or no? Indifferent at the moment. Yeah, I'm gonna get you guys to just give a little quick vote, just so I can like gauge a few reactions here right now. But Wendy, Lukaku is behaving like a toxic little girl trying to get revenge on her exes. I mean, like, this whole thing with Inter Milan is a bit crazy, to be honest with you. A bit obviously disappointing too. I feel like maybe whatever strategy he had planned or whatever, maybe it just absolutely backfired and played out against him. And now, as the window's coming to an end, I'm seeing the options like drying up now. So I don't know what's wrong with this guy. We have to see. But we know that he's been training here, right? He's not anywhere else right now. He wants to keep his fitness, so we'll see. You know, we'll see what's going to happen with this guy near the end. We will have this kind of games a lot this season. These guys are talented and skillful, but they will need at least 2 years to build their confidence. Experience matters. The season will be difficult. I mean, yeah. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I think there's definitely going to be moments where inexperience will come to get us. We're seeing injuries coming now. You know, Reece James, missing him is never ideal. You're missing your captain. Of course, you're looking at guys like Carnes now getting a small injury. And Nkunku. I mean, that's like 3 injuries. 2 are key players. One has been one of the better performing players recently. So already 3 injuries down. And you think to yourself, I can imagine like another 1 or 2 guys getting more injuries before the season, like before this month even ends. So there's always little details like that. RYX9. If I see another 3 at the back, I will snap and say push. I mean, I don't know. I just kind of feel like, why is everyone just hyper focusing on this back 3? Like, I just feel like as Chelsea fans, we've seen a million back 3s over the years. Does this back 3 look like any other back 3 we've used before? And can we really say that it's been shit? Like, I don't understand that. I'm not going to repeat myself with that. I feel like I've said it a million times in this stream already. But I just feel like it's the wrong focus, to be honest with you. Eden 10. I don't know why people are criticizing Jackson. He was good. The whole team played bad, which meant he didn't play that well in the second half for sure. Because like, where the hell was he getting service from? And at times he was like dropping deep in the second half, but then it's just like, you know, where was that service coming from? And who was taking advantage of the spaces getting made? So yeah, everyone's just like, again, when you lose games, it doesn't matter. Like, you're gonna get it stuck on you, like no matter who you are. So yes, that's just like the modern fandom these days, right? That's like internet fandom these days. Just reaction, to be fair. Cal, I thought Angelo should have also stayed. If him, Santos, Casade need regular game time, then Poch should be playing them. Maybe Lavia for depth, but I mean, I don't know. We've got Lavia and Caicedo now. That's 2 midfield players on top of like Connor and like Enzo and maybe Leslie. So I just think it's best that Caicedo obviously got the loan move. I don't think he's even ready like that right now, to be fair with you. Not when like Connor's playing decent and looking better. He's still young. So yeah, I don't really agree with that, to be fair. Why mad? Bro, I'm so pissed off of that game. We clearly still lacking cutting edge up front, which was a major issue last season. The worst thing that could have happened was that Nkunku, yeah, of course, the Nkunku injury meant that a lot of the efficiency and finishing ability left. And Nicholas Jackson lost a little bit of a partner in crime, which wasn't ideal, you know. But yeah, I just think that we just have to wait now, to be fair with you. Last season was a nightmare for many different reasons, like an overloaded squad, not having one consistent pattern of play throughout the season. We had like 10 or 11 different things we tried to force in. And when you combine that with players who are getting inefficient training because there's no consistency behind what they're developing on in training, like it created the mess that was last season, especially when you're adding more players like, you know, every few months too. So I don't think that from what we've seen so far, it's anywhere near as bad as that. I just think we have to be a bit patient now to wait for the goals to come. And hopefully now, you know, Luton and then Bournemouth and certain games like that, if you can get like, you know, clean sheet here, 2 goals here, 3 goals there, things look a little bit different then. But I'm going to be on for like maybe 5 more minutes time before I wrap things up because, yeah, it's been a bit of a late one. But obviously, if you guys want to see like more like post-match streams and stuff like that, obviously let me know in the comments and I'll do more of them for this season. But anyway, Cal, the same reason Olise said no. I mean, Olise didn't say no. That wasn't the case at all. And if you can say that, I know you had the reports, man. Obviously, all to say the deal collapsed because, allegedly we were tapping the player up. That's the accusations coming out from Crystal Palace, and then we kind of got scared off then and ended the deal there. So yeah, all I say just didn't say no because Crystal Palace offered him an amazing deal. Come on, man. Wendy, Lukaku, but yeah. With all these injuries, the team is literally calling out for Kudus. I think so. I just think that a guy that can fulfill different roles is key now. And I think Kudus is just the guy to sign because he gets goals. He's great across different positions. And he's a game changer where, one half-turn touch, he's taking out two guys and he's carrying the ball forwards. Yeah, I just feel like he's the guy that you just sign, in my opinion. I think he's the best one in the market right now. And he brings a bit more experience, a bit of strength, and a bit of finishing as well too. Alpha. I don't know how to feel about Mudryk, to be honest. At times he looks promising, but we have only seen glimpses so far. I think we have just got to be a little bit patient, to be fair. I feel like if a lot of these guys who we signed in January came this summer, we wouldn't have any negative preconceptions about them. A part of me is just already ignoring what happened last season because seasons like that are like failures from all different departments that accumulate to, produce messes that was last season, right? So you can't just have one or two players who perform bad and makes everyone bad. No, it's like a collective failure across their entire club that creates seasons like that. And I feel like no one really did well. And you can't do well in circumstances like that. So I still have an open mind on Mudryk. I don't think he's... Even in the game today, he tried a few things, but it wasn't like those games where you can't even control the ball or, you're passing it back to the opposition or you're giving away sloppy counter-attacks. It's nothing like that whatsoever. So, we just have to wait and see. Lords, I have no reason to despair. Our first 45 minutes was good. Add an Elite 9 and second striker Jackson and we're coming back. But who is this Elite 9? Right now in the market, what club is going to sell one of their best strikers in the window? Are you looking at Kolo Muani maybe? Could he be an option? I also feel like with Kolo Muani, it's not like his finishing is that clinical that, we'd be sitting here just waiting for this guy to produce guaranteed goals week in, week out. He's a great player, but I feel like when you've got a Jackson, I don't think I need a Kolo Muani, to be fair with you. I just don't know the option in the market right now. Who is there? From the Liga, from the Bundesliga, La Liga, Gerard Moreno. Nah, I mean, there's no one really that I'm looking to right now, to be fair. Balkan Games, yeah? This post-match live streams are great and we can comment what we think and communicate with you, Nini. Okay, cool. I'll look to do more of these then. Wendy, with all these injuries, the team is literally crying out. Yep, I think I answered that already. Alex, Kudus over Olise. I think so. I think he'd be a smart one, depending on the needs for the team right now. And I think this guy could be good, to be fair with you. Nathan Moses, where am I from in London? I'm somewhere in London, bro. Somewhere in London. That's what I'm gonna say. Cal, how do you feel about us buying Tammy or Balogun? Well, Tammy is out in injured. And Balogun is compared to all these pacey strikers and behinds, I feel like Balogun is not as techy as these guys. I would have signed a Wahi over Balogun because I think Wahi is a better player than Balogun. I don't care that Balogun scored 22 goals for Ream. The way Ream play, I think if you're a striker that loves service and behind, and a team is very direct in terms of their build up. I think most strikers like that are going to score goals. So I don't think Balogun's the option because, again, in games like this, when a team's parking the bus, how are we going to break them down? It's easy when the games open up, right? But it doesn't tend to be the case for us because we kind of lose these games when games become like this from opposition, right? Okay, Sacre Bleu. Mudryk's got 99 pace, 99 dribbling, but doesn't know how to use it. Okay, I get you. Again, I'm just gonna be a bit more patient with Mudryk. It's only for me, to be honest with you. I haven't seen nonsense that's been that bad from him yet. Where it's okay, this guy's mids or was the wrong signing, whatever. To be fair, but you look at someone like a Mitoma, who knows? Would he ever? Like, again, I'm not gonna start thinking far ahead. It's like Mudryk hasn't even been in this country for like a year yet, you know. So again, he's come from Ukraine. He's come from a different country. Like, I think we need to be a little bit more understanding, to be fair. Anyway, Courtney, Nini, bro, we got humbled and was deserved because we think top four's a walkover. You're right. We definitely got humbled. I got humbled, and it's just like, I'm not trying to make mistakes like I did last season. Like, the football excites me, but after seeing how we lost control of the game today, it's like, okay, these are the details that I need to wait for us to see improvements in before I start seeing what we do. I think taking games week by week is the only thing we can do right now. It was just like the 16-17 season where we started off bad under Conte. Remember, Conte switched things up to the back three wing-back system, and he did that in the second half against Arsenal, and I was at that game when that happened. And then from that point on, there was like a tactical light just went off in everyone's heads. And then, wow, we were winning games. We won 30 games that season, which just seems absolutely unreal when you look back, right? 30 games out of 38 games. To win that many is crazy, to be fair with you. And we didn't even feel like we were going to win the title until I think we beat, was it Man City during that season too, right? So I think taking things game by game, having a bit of patience, and just letting these guys settle in a bit more, get used to each other. And once we have like Caicedo like really running, once Lavia gets some mints, gets integrated, you know, then I think we can start to, you know, we'll see what happens then. But you're right, definitely humble pie. But Alex, yes, Alex, Sterling performed well today, so people need to find a new scapegoat. I know it. Like, I just find like sometimes those talks are so boring. Just like forever finding a scapegoat all the time. I just don't think it's like very analytical. Not that I guess people have to be analytical, of course not, but it's just, I find it like a very boring way to see football. And it's just like, it's like you have all these like constraints in which you're like seeing the game, and you keep forcing everyone into these little like small minded like takes that you have, and it gets a bit silly. Like, for example, forcing this stuff on Sterling when he's been one of the key guys recently, and I hope he continues his form right now, because I only care about winning right now. I don't care about if my favorite players playing or not, to be fair with you. After not winning a lot last season, I'm starting to miss that feeling of winning games. And we've started this new season, winless so far. So I don't really care who plays or who doesn't, as long as you're going to help us win a game. That is all I care about. Anyway, I got a super chat from Chris. Yes, Chris. Thank you, man. Wonder why Pochettino abandoned preseason tactics and formations. Well, one, Nkunku isn't here anymore. That's a key thing. And two, we're playing against two good teams in the Premier League in Liverpool and West Ham. And we didn't have the midfield that he'd ideally fully want to have, right? Like, it's easy doing that versus like Brighton's and Newcastle's and stuff like that in pre-season. Everyone's like fielding like inconsistent lineups in pre-season, but the Premier League's a different beast, and I think because we don't have Nkunku, that's one of the main reasons why. But again, I don't think this like, you know, back three / back four Pochettino's using has been bad. Against Liverpool, you know, we were the better team by far, and they couldn't get close to us for large parts. And West Ham today, we lost the game in moments. Set piece, a counter-attack wonder goal and a penalty, which is, you know, it can happen sometimes. It's not great, but it would be completely different if, you know, our back three was getting torn apart, or like we were just leaving up so much space and we were getting like torn through. Then I'd understand why people are like a bit worried. But no, I think this like hybrid back three thing that happened, because again, when you have a Levi Cole, like, I remember last season before Cole was playing, everyone was like trying to fit him into this like Nathan Ake, Gavadio style role, right? And now we're seeing him play that. And I don't think he's been bad. He has been helpful. Like, remember, he played the pass that released Sterling to win that penalty then. So everyone was talking about Sterling being this like Gavadio, Ake centre back, right? Now he's doing that, and now everyone's crying that it's just a back three, which it isn't. So I don't know what to say about that, to be fair. But anyway, first super chat from Christian Lacroix. Appreciate that, man. Okay, so celebrate. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely celebrating, bro. Thank you, Christian. I appreciate that, man. I keep saying I'm going to be 5 minutes. I'm definitely going to be 5 more minutes now because I need to get rest now for tomorrow so I can get ready to make this little tactical breakdown. I want to make this season be the biggest season on the channel. I feel like obviously there's great content creators in the community, but sometimes it's like it does bring a little bit of like a competition in the sense that there's not like there's millions of fans online looking to consume content, so you need to bring some quality, something different, and bring it out early as well too, right, to try and attract people. So yeah, I'm hoping that I can have a big season this season, to be fair. But 5 more minutes left then, or 4 more minutes now. Raz JD, how you doing, man? We have a problem now with both Khans and Nkunku out, yes. Do we plan on playing Matson? I think Matson now is a serious solution, or we have to buy one now in like a Kudus. We've looked at a lot of these wide forward guys recently, like Doku and like, Brennan Johnson, not even Balogun. Who is the other guy we're looking at too? Barcola from Lyon. Like, I can see why these guys would be great, but unless we're going to be a team that maybe plays with less possession, I think maybe I prefer a hybrid winger /10, because I feel like this season we're going to play against more teams like West Ham who are going to defend and sit off the ball. So it's like you don't even get that many opportunities to really use your pace unless you're taking a lead and then playing counter-attacking football. So I just think a Kudus right now would be the best option in the market. And, there's a reason why I think we're looking to make late moves for the attack, because I guess we want to assess the team and how things are. I wonder how serious Noni's injury is right now. Like, is there any, like in the chat, is there any like confirmation around Khan's injury? Like, is it like a serious knee injury or like a bit of bruising or something, or like be out for like a week or a few or a month? Like, what's the situation with that? But let me just move on, answer a few more. D35 Nini, but that Nkunku and Carney, are you worried about us not having enough players that are dangerous in the half spaces? For sure now. Like, now that we've missed those two, I do think that. And this is why I think we need to sign a winger /10. Missing out on Elise was a shame. Like, a part of me thinks now that he has a new release clause, can't we just activate this new release clause? Unless it's like something in the contract saying that no one can activate it in the first, like, I don't know, year that it's signed. Like, what is this release clause? Can't we just activate it now and just sign Elise? Because he would have been great to have in a game like this today, especially with his delivery, the through balls in behind, and his set piece play. Because Elise is a very dangerous set piece taker. And them little details just help, man. Another super chat here. Yes, Chris. What specifics should Poch do next game to fix this? I mean, again, it's a bit hard to say. I think it's just a timing thing. And I think naturally, Caicedo will be a lot better in the next game. It'll be less rusty. I think Lavia might get some minutes as well too. We'll see some uplift for sure. But it does kind of feel like Prep will be affected a little bit, because could we sign someone else before the next game against Luton? Like, time will tell, right? But who knows? Maybe Mats might finally get an opportunity. It would be good to see him there. I think he had very good goal threat in pre-season and very good creativity too. So, he was finding great position in the left-hand side with the overlaps. So I would like to see Matson getting some game time soon, to be honest with you. But I'm going to answer a few more questions. Okay, Jake. The last contact between us and Kudus was at the beginning of August. There are no contacts going on right now. Okay, so thank you, Fabrizio, for ruining everything. Exactly what I wanted to read at this time of the night. But again, we are looking at these like wide forward options. So it does get me thinking, have we like changed our opinion now behind solutions we're looking for up front? Like, who knows? But yeah, let me answer a few more and then I'm going to bounce. Hammerson, Smith, Irons. Yeah, congrats to West Ham for getting the win today. Christian, can't stop thinking that the second half exposed our lack of fitness chemistry. 4 starting players injured before 2 matches. I know it's not ideal. Wendy, people forget Mitoma's 26. They're acting like he's 19. You're right. You're 100% right. So it's just a bit of patience, which unfortunately if we're going to be signing all these young guys, if we're not going to sign 25-year-olds and 26-year-olds, and I guess that's like the consequences that come with youth, right? Ah, wait, Carney is done for the season? Ah, please tell me my guy is not done for the season before he starts. You know how much I hate that? Because it's like by the time he gets fit again, like how much... Wait. The club is saying this. Mauricio says the extent of the injury suffered by Carney is not known and is going to be assessed tomorrow. So, okay, he ain't out for the season. Why are you scaring me at this time, man? What's wrong with you? You had me nervous then. But I mean, I hope that there's nothing wrong with the kids, man, because the last thing I want to see is like another promising guy getting ruined by injuries at this club. Like, I don't know why us out of every club constantly has young players suffering injuries. Like, it's not ideal. Anyway, Sonny, would you rather have Joao Felix or Kudus? Oh, Felix. I mean, I've always liked this guy before he became the unpopular guy on Twitter, with the Chelsea fan base. Sometimes I feel like we forget that these guys exist before they play for our club. But I mean, I'm thinking about Felix. I mean, I do think those little combo plays that we play, I think in my head, he would look quite fun in the system, right? With these little like pass moves and give and goes and little details like that. But yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure now, to be fair. But I like Kudus, but now I'm hearing that I'm not even having contact with him right now, so it's not looking great. Sharanjit Singh, sorry bro. Nini, we need to take this reality check and realize too, 10 is what we will attain with such a young and inconsistent squad. I think it's just too soon to be writing us off for 10th already. Like, everyone's said 10th for most seasons, that we have a habit of not always, like, you know, achieving that. I hear you, but I don't know, man. It's way too late for me to be this negative right now. Alex, Ruben 2.0. I mean, let's hope, like, no more, like, Hudson-Odois or Rubens or Pulisic or anyone with these injuries that just ruin everything. That wouldn't be great. I saw a question somewhere before I bounce. Would I bring back Hazard? I'd bring back Hazard for pure sentimentality and to have this guy at the squad. I'm not expecting fireworks, but just having him involved, I would take that, because I think, you know, I mean, Hazard will have a soft spot in my heart forever, to be fair. Okay, Balkan games. We will know our Chelsea is back when we see the famous cracking laugh in the post-match video, for sure. It's been a long time since I've done that. A very long time. Not been many opportunities to bring that back out again. So let's hope this season. Let's hope next week against Luton Town, because they look like a championship team. And if we can't beat them, oh, yeah. Maybe my level-headedness might not be so level-headed. But my friends, I'm going to wrap things up right now and keep things moving. Thank you for watching. Yeah, thank you guys for coming on stream today. Definitely check out all the content. I released like a player ratings video. I guess I released it a bit too late, but if you guys want to get like a bit of an understanding behind how I rated the team, you guys know where to find it. Links below in the description. And of course, check out my 5 things learnt video as well too, my friends. So thank you guys for coming on pretty late. I'm going to start learning how to, not start learning. I'm going to start like advertising these streams in advance so you guys get a heads up. Everything's been quite impromptu at this point in time. I feel like maybe once I have like a few match days, I can start to schedule things a bit better once I can assess how things go. So no schedules anytime soon, but hopefully pretty soon, right? So yeah, you guys. Hope you guys enjoy the stream. Thank you for watching. I'm EFC. This is Blue Lions TV. See you guys